Ha 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 ha. I forgot how to hide that thing. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Well Played Live, Kayla's first time.
Yep.
This is officially our first sort of check-in with Kayla since we started this. When did we actually record that? Help me. I'm old.
Monday.
I don't remember. Okay, so that was just Monday. And I edited that thing and got it up eventually.
You got it up.
Not late last night. I don't know what you're talking about. So hopefully folks were able to see. And again, the plan was Kayla was going to build in between time. So how's that been going? Has that been happening?
It's been going great. I'm officially addicted.
Nice.
I'm addicted to what that Lego did. I'm also kind of scared for when it's going to be over. Like I've kind of been taking my time with it and letting it drag out as long as I can. But yeah, it's been fun. I have a pretty good portion of it done. I'll just hold it up.
Yeah, we can take a look at some photos and stuff. Ooh, looky.
I don't want to. There's a few things that might fall off, so I don't want to. And plus, I have Frodo and Sam just up there. They were in bed together, and they might have been in a compromising position, but I decided to change that and just put them on top.
Well, we'll take a look. I don't know, for whatever reason, I am pressing to change the layout to try and zoom into that screen, and it wasn't working, but we'll figure it out.
That's okay.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you are addicted. I'm glad that you're finding it to be a positive experience.
Yeah.
And as some people in the chat might attest, I can be a bit of an enabler when it comes to toys. So glad that I could help you with that. Let's go ahead. Speaking of which, what's up?
I was going to say, I think anyone in the toy community is an enabler to other people.
Right.
Let's be honest.
Because misery loves company and joy loves company. So join us. All right, let's check out, on that note, let's see who is here. I know Highly Articulated jumped in earlier because he has some important Lego advice that he wanted to give, and he felt that it was super important that you heard that you shouldn't forget to line up the logos on the studs.
What?
He and I fundamentally disagree, and I thought he was joking, but then he's mentioned it a couple of times, so who knows? So you know the little Lego logos?
Yeah.
Sometimes if you put, for example, two plates together.
Oh, and they're turned the other way. Wow, people are. I
don't know how serious he is. In fairness, I don't know how serious he is.
I have some OCD, but that is another level.
Yes, it is.
That's Lego OCD. Wow.
So thanks for that tip. That was earlier. He came by at 11:08 this morning to make sure that comment made it into the chat. So
he just wanted to get it in early. I understand.
Cobweb says, sup, Brick? Hi, Kayla. Ow. Oh, actually, that's Lego and rings. Love that. Probably can't catch this live because I'm at work, but have fun. And Brick just subbed to you. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes. Subscribe to Brick. Hit that bell icon so you get notified. We're going to do a couple more of these. So
thank you.
Stay tuned.
Quip says, "You're about to start watching Picard with the wifey. So he's got to go. Have a great show, you too. Absolutely. Hope you enjoy Picard. I need to catch up. Yet another thing that I get geeky about. Do you Trek? Is that a thing for you?
I've watched the new movies, but there may or may not be something in the works of watching from the beginning and doing something about it. That is all I will say. We'll see. It's very, very early stages.
And
but there's someone who does know a lot about Star Trek, and so might do something where it's like a watch along kind of thing.
When you say from the beginning, are you talking like classic Trek? Holy. That's fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of episodes.
Awesome.
Movies to go through.
So let's see. Payne says, people, what's up? Shiny, I wasn't sure if there was a message before the other one, so I'm gonna skip that one, but we're gonna come here, and I appreciate it. Thank you. The music is so good on Break Something. Thank you. The music of D-Elect. Nolan says, hi, oh.
Hello.
Charlie loves us. Thank
Hi,
you.
Charlie.
Love you. Love it.
Kiddos.
Anything you want to highlight real quick while he's like kind of exploring your toy room? You want to give us a quick
exploring
kind of like
my toys?
Yeah.
So up here is my Lord of the Rings, like 2 kind of shelves. It's like a geometric bookcase. Yes, I have my my other shirt is made of mithril.
Nice.
Yeah, I have all my Lord of the Rings stuff up there. I think one of my favorite things is I got a Sam Funko. I know Funko, but like this was literally 6 years ago.
No
but
need
I got it.
No, Funkos are great.
I know.
Ignore the haters. It is
I got
what
it.
it is.
I got it signed by Sean Astin the day before I left for New Zealand, and that was pretty awesome. He was such a cool person. And
Hopefully
and then
he
I
still is.
also Huh?
I said hopefully he still is, but yes.
Yes. From what I've seen, he seems to be good still. But yeah, and then I have the contract from The Hobbit that was signed at the very end of it by Sir Richard Taylor himself at Comic-Con in 2018, and I got a picture with him too.
Help me out real quick. When you say the contract, what are we talking? Like
Bilbo's contract.
Oh, that contract. In-universe contract. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, so I didn't know he was going to be there at Comic-Con at the Weta. They had a Weta booth there. And I was just walking by and I saw him, and I was with someone that I just became friends with at the con, and they were like, you should do it. I'm like, oh no, I'm nervous. I'm not prepared. I don't know what to do. And I was like, let me look around and see if there's anything there I can get to have him sign, because I didn't just want it to be something, random. And so I saw the contract. I was like, oh my God, that's perfect. He can add his name to the bottom of it. And so that's what happened. So that's really cool. And then
is this like a replica, but like when you say
it's an exact replica
I'm just like
of it.
Awesome. That's rad.
Yeah, and then I also have a really cool thing. You can't really see it, but it's a wood engraving that a wood burning engraving that my friend did for my college graduation present, and it has like I forget what symbol it is, and I think it's here. Nah, that's too much to get it down. But it's my favorite quote that from Lord of the Rings is all we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I wish I could pull it down, but probably one of my favorite things for sure, especially because she made it for me and everything, and I've been friends with her for so long. But yeah, and then recently I got the Weta the mini epics. I got a bunch of them, and then Sam's little hobbit hole is up there too, like a mini replica. Yeah, and I have the original DVD box set that I begged my parents for that I mentioned in the last video.
Yep.
And I got the tapes they did a recording on NPR of Lord of the Rings. I haven't been able to listen to them because I don't have a cassette tape player. But I found them randomly on the side, like when people were just like throwing their stuff off on the streets. I found it in one of those piles, and like someone got rid of that. And it's cool because it's like a engraved wooden box too, which I really like.
Cassette tape player, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, and then on my door I have the do not disturb sign that Bilbo has on my room door too, from literal Hobbiton.
We will definitely check out some of that when you say the literal Hobbiton. So I guess let's let that hang in the air. Bud says, "Hey Brick, hey SilverKay.
Hello.
Take a lesson from Ned. Please just don't drop it." Charlie, Lego's all about the knowing for me. And so I'm assuming like when you're building, is that right, Charlie? You're kind of like putting out the parts. I love I love knolling, and this is my
Is that what it's
yes.
called? Like setting out the parts or?
Yeah, so knolling, all of a sudden, for some reason, John Knoll came into my head, and I think he may or may not have had a role. But the idea, it's a term when you like kind of like organize things in a very sort of. I'll show you, since we were talking about Lego and obsessive
Mhm.
compulsive.
Mhm.
I'll show you that at some point. So I'll get back to
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And I've been accused of being a supreme enabler, particularly by this good person, repeatedly. One of us. One of us.
Mhm.
What's up, y'all? Toy Art, good to see
Hi, Toy
you.
Art.
And Derek Hoover, he's gonna catch
What's
the
up?
replay. Yes, handle that. Oh no, 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 no. Take care of the little one. Take care of the little one.
Oh, no.
Okay. So welcome, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us again today. The plan is to see the progress, and I was hoping we'd talk a little bit more and share with folks some of your journeys, as I sort of put in the
Mhm.
description. And I figured we'll do like little bits and pieces. For example, you mentioned a little Funko earlier,
Mhm.
getting it signed. So like those are things that I'd love to be able to share a little bit more. And I'm a visual person. I know you're a visual person. So why don't we
Mhm.
share some of that
Okay.
visually if we can? So
Mhm.
but before we get started with all that, why don't I would just sort of love to maybe take a look at the progress shots that you sent me.
Mhm. Yep.
So let's go ahead and take a
Go
look at
for it.
those. Window. All right. So it's not in any like order other than I believe the order that they were taken, because I kind of just wasn't sure.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so this was, like, what I finished that night after we recorded,
got it.
which was the first 2 bags, I believe.
So how much longer do you think you went? I think we were talking for about, I think we were actually building
Um,
for maybe about 40, 30 some minutes, and I sped through it in the edit. But
yeah,
so how
I
much
don't
longer do
know.
you think you went?
I cannot remember.
Okay.
Maybe, like, 20, 30 minutes
Okay.
tops. I don't think it was much longer than that. Although doing all the little, like, green pieces and the
These
shrubbery
those
was a
one by
little.
ones.
Yeah, I have little
Yeah.
stubby fingers, so.
He looks amazing though. Now I can see that face running a
Yeah,
lot better now.
yeah,
Love it.
he looks great.
All right, let's
That's just
see.
one side of his face. I had forgotten that they have 2 sides. Yeah, I wanted to get a shot of, like, everything. So
Mhm.
that was, I think, the next night. Maybe it
Real
was the
quick,
same night. I don't know if I did
look,
more.
check out Kayla, folks. Had to bust out those Ziploc bags. Gotta keep things
Yes.
tidy.
I have, like, a box. This
Respect.
is actually the box that I got from Craig from Yes Have Some for my giveaway, and so I've been putting, like, that baggie. So I have a baggie of just, like, spare parts now, and then, which I guess I shouldn't call them that anymore, and then I just have the bag to put the small pieces in while I build, which I guess I should put out now, and
And
then,
when you
like, the
say spare
stickers.
parts, sorry, you just mentioned spare parts. You're talking about things that were actually left over when you're building, right?
Yes, like, all the
Okay,
little
got it. Yep, yep,
extra
yep. Good,
pieces,
good.
and then the little thingy-ma-bobber
I'm not
is what
sure
I'm
what
calling it
made it
now.
into the edit, because there were lots of little things that I just sort of had to cut for time. But
Mhm.
part of this too, the idea is like for people who are newer to Lego. But if that wasn't in there, just a heads up that often your bags will come with extra pieces, and it's not
Mhm.
necessarily by mistake, and it's not necessarily on purpose
Yeah.
in terms of like the pieces they give you. It's usually that everything is automated at Lego and they measure everything. So there's a
Yeah.
tolerance. And if they sort of would rather, in other words, they measure each bag and it's supposed to hit a measurement, and usually they let it go a little over, and the idea is that okay, you've got extra pieces,
Yep.
but if it's under, they toss that one because it's probably short. And I think
Yeah.
in the 20 some years that I've been sort of an adult fan of Lego, did we mention
Mhm.
that? I don't know if we've ever mentioned that. um, Real quick, Lego terms. AFOL. I'm such an AFOL. AFOL stands for adult fan of Lego.
Huh.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
And so in AFOL speak, right? What was it? During my adult fandom, I have, and that's about 20 some years, right? Yeah.
2/3 of my life.
I think there's been about like 4 or 5 times that I've had to contact customer service because a piece was missing. Just to give you a sense.
I'm terrified that that's gonna happen to me.
Yeah. And it doesn't happen that often.
There's been a couple of times, and then I'm like, "Oh, no, it's actually this color," because like, the grays and the browns start to kinda blend together, and then I kinda just figure it out on my own. I'm like, "Oh, no, it's actually this color."
It's often human error is what
Really
it comes down to.
quickly,
Yeah, what you got?
speaking of OCD, that whole LOL, not
This one?
being centered over that annoyed the absolute crap out of me.
So again, it's one of those things where it's like, trust the system, right? Just
Yeah.
like with the pieces, like it could be, there's always a possibility you might miss missing pieces. For example, in this case, you're like,
Yeah.
oh my
I
God, it's
double
centered.
checked
It
it
bugs me. Yep.
so much, but no, that's how it's supposed to be.
Because then you realized
Off-center,
why,
which
yes
it
or
makes
no?
this a little off-center, but I can't do anything about it. That's how it's supposed to
Yeah.
be.
If it
I'm
were
just gonna have to
centered,
live with it.
sure. It's a design thing, but also I think it's so that you get the proper movement. Because if it were properly centered, it wouldn't clear that big opening.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It wouldn't be able to clear either side.
Yeah. You know, trust the designers. They're smart. No,
And
they
that's
do great work.
actually that little spot, it had a name that
Mhm.
it was called, like, Sam's little hiding hole. I think I might have taken a picture of it, I'm not sure.
That's cute, the hidey hole. You think
Yeah.
A-Fold's better than Kadult with 2 Ds? Kadult.
I think anything's better than Kadult.
Yeah, I'm gonna reclaim it, just like highly articulated. Anyway,
Oh,
let's
yeah, it's
see.
the hidey hole for Samwise Gamgee was one of the final features added to the model.
Do they mention that, like, along the way? They're giving you
Oh,
kind
it's
of like little
literally yeah,
snippets?
they give you, like, little tidbits.
Oh, that's awesome. See, those are things
Let's see.
that are
There.
mainly in the big adult collector sites. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, I just wanna highlight, like, I don't even have any of these pieces. These are newer foliage pieces.
Yes, those are actually brand new. It said that in here too.
Oh my God, of course it did. That's so cool.
Well,
None of
especially
that
because it's
is
ferns, and well, you can't see the rest of my room, but the rest of my room is pretty much ferns, and then my, like, part even star, part fern tattoo.
very cool.
Kind of like ferns.
So AFOLs like me get excited, like, about, like, ooh, new pieces in this set. And again, yeah, anyways, what's going on here? This is our Samwise
Mhm.
with his reddish hair.
This pot or pan. Either way.
Very cool.
Yeah, I kind of, like, placed them randomly when I was taking pictures. But the first one was Frodo, of course, that
So
I
you were
built.
having fun building this, huh?
Mhm.
While watching Busted. No, just kidding. Awesome.
Oh, yeah, when I was watching YHS.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how many mistakes, start stops, having to go back, fix things came up? Because I know
I actually
think you only
didn't
had
have
one of those.
I had 2 when we did it.
Oh, did you?
One was
Okay.
bigger, one luckily I caught pretty quickly, but
Mhm.
I have not made a mistake since. I think that's partially because, like, I'm not under the pressure of someone watching. And yeah, 'cause I do well on my own, but if, like, someone's, like, looking over my shoulder, so I'll probably make some mistakes tonight. I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time. But yeah, I surprisingly have not. I've definitely slowed down, especially with that hole not being centered.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it annoyed me to no end.
I can tell.
And, so that I had to kinda do a double take for. I'm trying to think if there was I don't know if there was anything else. The statues definitely took a little bit more time. Um, Yeah, it's very intricate around them, and then how you do it in stages is very interesting, and they're still kind of, like, loose, because it has to be built up above it.
Let me go into
Um,
let's see.
yeah, I was gonna say if you
How
wanna
far
assess.
to get to, the,
I'd say it's close
statues?
to the end. Yeah,
Oops.
just be careful with those last photos. Frodo and Sam are in compromising positions, let's just say.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I wanna do a photo. Yeah, it's really cool, the candles and just all the little details that they put
Yeah,
into it is
these guys.
insane. Yeah, and then, like, the floor tiles, and then coming up soon will be the bookshelf that goes in there, which is really
So
cool how they
for
did that too.
playability and action features, is it just the hidey hole so far, or have there been other little things that you've built so far?
I think just the hidey hole.
Okay.
I mean, I just made a bed, you know, action
Does
happens there.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's the bookshelf.
look at that.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and it was interesting, like, this it's I mean, all of it's really interesting, the steps that they do, because when I started making it, I was like, "What the fuck am I making?" And, and then, it slowly starts to come together. I'm like, "Oh, it's a bookshelf, okay." And then you, like, add the ornate details and all the little, like, brown half circle pieces.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's cool to see it all come together, and then put it in place, and then it's an even bigger picture.
So, I don't even again, I don't know if it made it into the final video, but we talked about snot last time. Do you remember that?
Why am I
Because 'Cause
forgetting
you're doing
already?
it here. That's fine. Snot, S-N-O-T is studs not on top, right? So what's happening here is you've got the studs coming out this way, right?
Oh,
Instead
yeah.
of from the bottom up, right? So if you think about it, or if we look at the placement here, super geeky, right? You've got this is the bottom. So the studs are usually on top and you build on top, down, up. And then
Mm,
the bookcase is coming out towards you, right? And then some of them are
mhm.
going side to side, like the books. So anyway, that's just like that was stuff that didn't exist when I was younger,
Hmm,
that sort of became like a more common technique, and then they started building
yeah,
pieces specifically to be able to do that to kind of change orientation.
interesting.
Anyway,
Very
nerd.
cool. I know. Right there with you.
All right, so you got the statues. You had like a bunch of
Yes.
like
So
additional figures.
there's 5 of them, and 3 of them have the same hairstyle, but it's nice because they alternate, and then the other 2 have the same hairstyle.
Mhm.
Which, yeah, that helps my OCD too, that it's, like, every other one. And then, um, yeah, it's really cool, like, the arches over them. So, yeah, that was the beginning of it, and so that's the black is the back of the bookcase.
Got it.
Mhm.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
And so even this whole thing of like if you think about the angles, right, and being able to get a little bit more of a
Yeah,
um
which those were, like, pretty loose at that stage, like, if I touch one I
mhm.
mean, even if I touch, like, all the statues, because if you go back, like, a picture or 2, there's, like, no barely any studs that they go yeah, there's only, like, 4 you can see that? How there's only, like, a couple studs they can go onto? So they're almost, like, floating. So I'm waiting for more pieces to be built on top to really keep
Yep.
them together.
So it's using hinges, right? They're each connected
Mhm.
by these hinges and you can kind of swivel them and then you position them into that 45-degree angle on top of those tiles.
Essentially.
Yeah, love it.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Just gonna say yes.
Yeah, but no, you're getting the look at you talking bricks and plates and tiles and minifigs and
Yeah.
very cool. The
Yeah,
printing
and,
on those statues are really cool too.
yeah, they did a good job. It's interesting how the ones on the sides don't have, like, legs, they're just solid. That was an interesting choice.
These ones are meant to be like togas or dresses. They're meant to be like flowy robes, right? So these are ones where they have legs, and then these are meant to be like a dress kind of
I
a,
did
or a
not even
toga.
think of that. I was like, they just wanted to make this solid.
Or at least that's what it is when it's a minifig. I don't know if the statue and the original thing. Look at that. Look at these guys.
Yeah, I decided I posed them a little bit.
Charlie says, back when I had Lego sets as a kid, the figures initially didn't have faces or articulated arms and legs.
What?
I'm with you.
They didn't have faces?
Early, they were just, the heads, like the earliest versions.
That's
So,
crazy.
and so
Wow.
right now, right, like that's kind of what I was hoping to be able to do too, is just kind of like introduce folks to the like super geeky yet awesome world of Lego, right? Well,
We're all
so
learning together.
yep, Cobweb is like, I learned snot from watching Lego Masters. Again, I think something that
I
was
guess I need to
cut
watch that now.
from the editing was, we were highly articulated was talking about how all the little studs say Lego on top of them, right? And so super like nerdy brick is like when you see the sort of motion graphics and they show the background of the bricks, it looks like this. When it's supposed to, if they're trying to make it like be like the bricks, it's supposed to actually have like the words Lego on it, right? Like you can kind of barely see it here, but they're like up here.
Yep.
Right. And that's like, as we were talking again, I think they were cut off, or I think I edited out, but
so that
kind of
was one of
go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say when we were opening the box, that was one of the pictures that was on the side. So that's just on the back side here, which I think will end up being that scene with Boromir and Aragorn.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, you pointed this out again. I don't think it made the edit on the box, right? They were using some of these illustrations. This is a
I think
sticker?
it made it in.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
okay.
So I did several stickers last night.
I was gonna say, talk to me about that. I'll tell you right now.
Well,
I forgot. We forgot to talk
really
about
cold
that. Sorry.
Here. And so my hands have been very dry. So I made the mistake of putting on lotion before. I thought I was going to be okay because I just did the back of my hands. But no, I was like, you know what? It's fine if it gets a little bit on the bricks. And then, of course, I had to do stickers. It turned out fine, but I was like, of course, when I do this, that's when this happens. They all stuck on fine. Glue? I kind of no. I just like had to wash my hands and kind of wipe them down with wet wipes. But I, being OCD, I kind of had to. That one was fine. I didn't really care that it was a little bit off, but the ones I did for like the top of the bed, those I had to redo a couple times, and luckily it was fine. I was worried they wouldn't stick after a couple of times, but and then the back of the headboard is also a sticker too.
Let's take a look. Hold on. Wanted to highlight, this came up earlier too. Thank goodness for Lego Masters, so I know some of these terms, right? So it's like, I will say Lego Masters definitely was kind of one of those things for AFOL where it's like, we kind of felt like, ooh, like there's exposure to this sort of weird geeky culture and through this sort of reality show. And, a lot of those folks are people that, that have been building for a while, have online presence. So it is kind of neat to see them get some shine on that show. It's fun. And I've watched it with the kids. We've enjoyed it, but then eventually it's a reality show. So it does kind of get repetitive.
Sure.
Charlie Weaver bringing in those Lego memories, and that Spaceman minifig cracked helmet issue back in the day was the bane of my childhood existence. Kayla, have you watched the Lego movie or any of those at all?
Yes, I've seen the first Lego movie, but it was a while ago.
Right.
I don't.
Do you remember the little spaceman Benny, who's like spaceship? Okay, so he has this thing that Charlie's bringing up that they kind of turned into an in-joke because it was a problem where the chin strap would snap. And so
Oh,
it was
and they
such a
brought it
bummer as
up in the
a kid.
movie?
Yeah, so he walks
That's
around with
awesome.
the broken strap, which is kind of awesome.
How funny. I love when they do nods to things like that in
I
movies.
did too. Again, this art, awesome. I did want to ask you about stickers. I'll tell you right now, stickers are one
Yes.
of my least favorite things about Lego because,
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, the art is amazing, and I definitely can often just add like a. Trying to think if anything here. It adds a level of detail that's not there, and they can't print everything because
Yeah.
printed pieces can get really expensive,
Yeah,
especially
I
something like
figured.
this. But getting that placement, how much were you tripping on getting that exact placement on
A
that
little
piece?
bit.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that one you can see is, like, a little bit off, but I think that was just my first shot at it. Luckily, weirdly enough, putting the screens on my phone has helped me with that. 'Cause I get very, very anal about that
So,
and getting it on there right. And I had
yep.
just done it on my phone recently, so I kinda use the same, like, I put in a corner, like, touch down in one corner and then,
Mhm.
see where it lays. But, yeah, I wasn't too crazy. Luckily, my OCD has gotten a little better over
Uh-huh.
the years. Um,
I
you know
respect that. I'm the same way,
Yeah.
and that's what bugs me is that I
Plus
often feel stressed
yeah,
about ruining kind of the thing because I can't
yeah.
align it right, but this looks great. So I respect that you're bothered.
And
You said that
you
yeah,
can't
you said
really
that it's
tell
off a
or
little.
anything. Yeah, it's
I
just off a
love
little
that.
bit.
I see what you're talking about,
To
but
the right a
barely.
little bit, yeah,
Yeah.
like the edges.
What's
But
wrong
yeah,
with us,
not that big
Kayla?
a deal.
What's wrong with
I
us?
don't know. It's probably something from the childhood.
Oh my god, look at that. That
I
looks
see you highly
amazing.
articulated. Yeah, and I love the gold pieces. The gold pieces are really cool, and it's, how they mark them is really cool. They do a little sparkly thing with the stone. I don't know if you can see that. Kind of
Let's
maybe.
see. Okay,
Nope.
okay.
Yeah, just like little sparkle.
I love it. It looks really great. I love these little sort of gold, yeah, those gold pieces.
Accents. Mhm.
Yeah,
And I like the contrast with the turquoisey teal color.
real quick, I wanna the highly articulated says, "How anal? Sorry, Kayla's not in the chat." I watched Jack. Of course, I was editing, but I was just kinda trying to get it done, and then I watched the final edit.
Uh-huh.
It's fascinating, how much there's so many things in there. I was like, "Man, if Kayla were watching this, I keep hearing, like, things
I
that it
was
was like,
on my
hadn't
best
caught it."
behavior.
Yeah, hadn't caught it, and then you listen back and you're like, Shiny
Yep.
classic people on the Lego Masters tip. My favorite part of Lego Masters is when they start crying. I laugh like a maniac. I
Oh my
might be a
god.
monster. And
Eh,
I'm assuming this
I'm
was
guessing that's for the anal comment.
yeah.
Sorry, guys, I'm not there to make a comment.
This is awesome. Looking good.
Mhm. So that's the
Oh,
backboard. That was another sticker.
very cool.
And
Well
then yeah, get to
placed.
the
Yeah.
bed.
This is the
Might have
bed.
to cut you off at some point when it gets to the PG-13 level.
I mean, they're toys.
I'll let you
Kids,
know.
this is not for kids. I'll mark that on the stream. It's not for kids. Kayla's
They're
present.
just next to the bed. They're getting ready to potentially go in the bed. Let's just
So
say that.
very cool. Oops. So you actually did quite a bit. How many bags did you say this was?
That was the end of 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. There's 49 total. So
Mhm. Yep. Just a few more to go.
I love the sort of like mini scenes that are built into it too. And when you're finished, you'll see sort of like these little moments. And the book kind
Yeah.
of talks about them, right?
Um, what do you mean?
Well, like, I don't know. I remember when we were looking at it, like,
Oh,
it was like, this is where Bilbo and Gandalf, blah, blah, blah. Like, they kind of talk about the different sections.
yes.
Very
Yes.
cool.
I think they did. I'm also exactly halfway through the first book. This
is super fun. How was this part? I'm sorry. I'm getting super geeky, but right behind me, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, that's my next part.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's 7. That's the start of 7.
No, this is fine. They're jumping around. I can see them being giddy. They just saw each other, right?
Yeah, they're just shaking hands.
They were reunited.
Not doing anything to each other. They're toys. This is totally safe for work. Yep.
They were reunited right
holding,
after he got hurt.
Going for a hug. You know, he fell over.
Wounds. Kayla.
You know, if I'm gonna be playing with toys, I have to do this.
Being positive. Got it. Headboard is gorgeous. Look at that amazing headboard. Look at that side table. The design of that. This looks fantastic. Very cool. Thank you very much, Kayla. And so let's see. Welcome. I want to say there was something else that you sent over. No. Oh, video. Wondering. Let's see. Remove.
Oh, when I spun it.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, with Kayla, this is barely for most adults.
Yeah, this is true.
Allison, how's it going?
Hey, girl. Hey.
And Toya's right. You got here for the best part. Oh, I guess you got that right in time. Okay.
Got it in
time. Those are the progress shots.
Should we do some building?
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and start building, and we can kind of take a look at stuff while maybe you're building.
Yeah, do you want to? We're going to try the camera. The camera is my phone and is on Wi-Fi, so we're going to see how good the quality is.
Here we go. I think it's fine. Yeah, no, I think it looks good.
It looks good on my end.
And now that your laptop is wired, I think it takes stress
maybe that's why.
Takes the stress off.
Okay.
All right, let's do. There you go. All right, let's take a look.
Perfect.
We don't need that.
You can watch me flick the fern.
That's the hidey hole. Okay.
Yes.
Kayla Silva. No pressure, but where is that in the film? Was there a hidey hole scene?
No. I mean, they hid under the tree, but that was about it.
Yeah, and then I remember them sort of like hiding in an arched kind of like cave at one point with Gollum.
But anyway, but I think that's like a new feature they're doing.
Got it.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna open this. I'm sorry, everyone. It's gonna be loud. Yeah. I also partially have this pillowcase here for that reason, and partially because I have a lot of cords underneath it.
All right. So while you're building, if folks have questions, things they're curious about, or just general emoji reactions to things that are said, do that. And go ahead and flick that fern and smack that light.
Flick that fern. Love that. Oh, you can actually see pretty much everything. That's good.
All right.
Also, Frodo came with 3 rings. So,
Is the elven rings?
Technically the ring of power, because there's 3 of them. Oh god.
How many rings do you have that in your head? Are you locked in nerd-wise? And it's not a test, but
oh god,
I always try to remember, and I'm really bad.
3 for the elves, and 9 for the race of men, 7 for the dwarves. 1 ring to rule them all.
Maps. Who are the nerds? The Lord of the Ring nerds. Can you fact check us, please? Frodo just got tossed.
I feel like he did get tossed. Literally. His salad did not get tossed though. Okay, so I guess people won't be able to see the instructions unless we want to pull up a 4th screen.
Mayhaps, but yeah, let's just sort of see it. Let me figure out where I put all of that. It's kind of a mess over here. I'm just realizing. All right, so you're still on part 1. What part of part 1 are you? Or step?
I'm on step 113.
Ooh, 113 steps. So do you feel
So,
like you've gotten a hang of the whole instructions and following them step by
yeah.
step? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, sometimes the colors can get a little tricky. But for the most part, yeah, it's, process of elimination and deducing like, oh, well, there's only 2 of these, so it can't be that because I need 4 of them, kind of thing. And then
And I
like
believe
looking at like future pictures to see what it's, supposed to look like and stuff like that.
Yep. I fact checked, and I think you're right. Yep, 3 elves, 397.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally listened to that intro so many times. If I got that wrong, I would be very sad. And read the books, but I've definitely watched the movies a lot more. Being the visual person that I am.
And we'll get to a little bit more about like the background and the nerdiness and stuff. But for now, so you are here and you're doing this like interesting little like archy thingy here.
Yeah, these arches, which I kind of looked ahead. They're gonna go over like the benches that are on the side. So here, I'll show it in here. They're gonna go like over these guys.
What's up? Hedgehog moved over to Facebook. Glad to know that's working. I've always been curious.
I didn't know that was a thing.
These pieces here, when you're doing like 3 pieces like this, right? Do you do them one at a time and go back and start over? Or what's your strategy?
I've been doing them all together.
Same.
Which now I'm looking at this, which for this one, it looks like it has me do them all together because for other steps, it's like, it only tells you the amount of pieces per each one. Whereas this looks like it's all together.
So real quick, because again, I forget what was edited out or not because it was a blur. Lego instructions, right? Left to right, top to bottom, visual. So this right here is bag number. So everything is parted out, especially a gigantic set with 6,000 pieces like this, right? Spread across
10,000.
Spread across 49 bags. Everything is really planned out step by step.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
I give them mad props, whoever thought of all of these steps, because it is absolutely insane.
And it's relatively new because I have some older sets where it was not as figured out, and it's something that's sort of been figured out over time.
Yeah.
So here they'll break down what pieces you need at this moment. So I know some people like to pre-sort and have everything figured out. I struggle with that just because I'm going to have to do that every time and stop with each bag. So I just kind of pull out the pieces I need. I focus on this, grab my 6 and so on, and just sort of move. Sometimes I don't even do that and kind of work on the fly. Anyways, you can see it's purely visual. And the thing is, you just need to trust the pictures. Just look at it. It's kind of like those games you play as a kid. And you're like looking at images like, what's changed? What was added? And when necessary, they use visual sort of signifiers like these arrows or whatever to kind of show you what's going on. So remember we were talking about
a lot of little pieces.
The random pieces that don't use studs and bricks. I told them they're kind of like a special kind of category. You happen to remember what those are called?
The ones that don't use studs or bricks.
Like the whole piece with the rod that went through it.
I should remember that. But I don't.
They're called Technic. It's like, their own little branded that they use for like kind of the more like super mathy engineering sets that have worked their way into the main kind of Lego system. So anyway, nerd stuff. But that's what all this stuff is, like the clips and these round pieces that kind of clip in together. Those are all based on that system. Or you get these little like pegs with the crosses, extruded crosses. Can you multitask and answer questions about your Lord of the Rings thing, or is that too distracting?
I think I can, as long as it's not too insane.
No, it's more about just so what I wanted to do is, you've got a ton of pictures related to sort of like your journey in Lord of the Rings. So I'm just gonna maybe pick out a little pieces each episode. So what I've got today are it looks like a journey that you took to Middle Earth. And so make sure that I got. If you follow, oops, there it is. Come on, there you go. If you follow Kayla on her Instagram, you've probably seen this photo. Or I think this is also your image on YouTube. No, maybe not.
It's on Discord.
Got it, on our Discord, right? On the GDL Discord. So this is her thumbnail. So what's the story here? Where are you?
I'm in Hobbiton. That's where I am. No big deal.
So in our Earth, where is Hobbiton?
New Zealand.
In New Zealand. And so,
which, I mean, honestly, that country does not feel like it's on Earth. You feel like you're on another planet the entire time. It is absolutely breathtaking.
So how does this all work? Like, are these replicas made after? Were these leftovers from the show?
Yes, it is leftovers from The Hobbit. You know, because they didn't think of doing that the first time when they shot Lord of the Rings. They took everything down. Like, there were some remnants of the Hobbit holes left. I'm trying to remember the name of the town that it's in. I think it starts with like an M. This was 6 years, or how many years ago? 5 years ago when I was there.
I was looking at the signs, but all the signs says Hobbiton movie set, tourist farm.
Yeah. So in that picture is Frodo and Sam, the little
So
pops.
these are the Funkos
so I brought them,
that you brought along.
Yeah, I brought them along with me and took pictures of them pretty much
Is this the Sam that you got signed?
Yes, but I got the box signed, not him. I was not about to risk it for the biscuit. That one. Is it the long end, the short end? Which end goes in what?
You are working.
It's definitely the short end.
Okay.
I figured it out. Don't worry.
Yep. Wasn't sure if that was a question.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so they do tours there now, which they should have just kept it open after Lord of the Rings, but you know, it is what it is. And so after The Hobbit, though, they're like, we can cash in on this. And so they left it open, and now they do tours, and they have like special, more guided tours, but I just did a regular tour, maybe next time, just because they get pretty spendy. But it was awesome. So that picture, you kind of have to go through it a little bit quickly, which I guess when you do the more expensive ones, you have more time to really take everything in. But I still took like a million photos, and I don't know if you can see it in that photo, but I have my GoPro with me too that I took.
Yeah, I saw that in your hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I quickly glance at this picture, by the way, it's like, did she take her graduation photo in this?
Oh my God. That's funny.
Looks like you're holding up. So
yeah, and
quick,
plus I was there.
Sorry,
when you say myself too, so I take all the pictures.
No, just kidding. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said I was there by myself, so I had to take all my own pictures. So I luckily had someone else that was like in my group take that picture for me.
I was gonna ask because you said they move you through pretty quickly. How many people are
Mhm.
moving through this together in a group?
I think it was like 30-ish. And then some people kind of straggle along. So I wanted to take a bunch more pictures, and it turned into the next group like came up on me and like started taking pictures. I'm like, I'm
Mm,
sorry, I'll leave in a second, I promise.
mhm. Yeah, I'm looking at this, just looking at the detail work and everything. How much
Oh
of
my
it
god.
feels
They
like
have they do such an amazing job of keeping everything there. It is absolutely insane.
so can you just walk into these, or are these just facades?
Um So with that one, and then is the picture with the red door one up there?
Yep, right here.
Yes. So those two you can walk into, but it's just like it's not there's nothing inside. It's just kind
Mm.
of like a empty little room, essentially.
And how deep is the room? Like, is it actually going to the hill, or is it just
Maybe
like
like 8-10 feet
okay,
deep.
okay.
Yeah. Not very deep. LOL.
The doors are amazing. Do you
Alright.
subscribe to the theory? And if you haven't seen Rings of Power, sorry, probably kind of going to spoil some things.
Yeah.
But do you
Sorry, y'all.
subscribe to the theory that Harfoot eventually become the hobbits of the Shire?
Do I specifically? Or are
Yeah.
you asking the
No,
chat?
I'm asking you.
Um,
Or have you
so
heard that theory?
yes, I have heard that theory. Maybe, but like they're also just distant cousins of hobbits.
Mhm.
So I don't know. All right, the arches are on.
Nice.
Looks so good. Here we go.
I love how they made those arches. Those are essentially what
Right?
those pieces are bones. They're elephant tusks, or I'm trying to think of what
Not
else they've
real
used them for.
elephant
They've used
tusks.
them as no, they've used them as, like, tentacles sometimes, and they clip to, like, with
Mm,
extensions.
see if
So
I
it's
can just
kind of
switch
always
this.
cool how they choose to reuse pieces. Um, that is awesome.
I think I just broke something off. Yep. And there goes a fern.
Highly Articulated is gonna be working on a whole
I
other
have no idea where
channel,
this went.
and that's gonna feature his new viral video, Two Hobbits, One Ring. These flowers, fake? Do flowers like that exist in real life?
uh I
That feels
can't
like
remember.
that feels
They
too
might be,
well.
but a lot of it was real.
I mean, they've got
Um,
fake buds if they did, but it's amazing. They look fake,
I have to
but
figure
I
out
don't
where
know.
these
Maybe not.
ferns went
Maybe
for
not.
a second.
New
Oh,
Zealand has
it
cool
got switched
flowers if
here.
so.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not native. I don't know. This is really cool, and I need to make it out there someday because this looks like such a fun playground. I know you were into Lost, and the
Mhm.
coolest thing kind of like this that I've done is the farm that Lost was filmed on, and parts of Jurassic Park were filmed
I'm
on,
so
and
jealous.
um,
If I ever go to Hawaii again, I'm definitely gonna do that.
but they obviously they don't have a lot of these things sort of intact, right? So this is kind of it's
Mhm.
smart that they did this. They had to basically rebuild this from rebuild the Shire, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they rebuilt it for The Hobbit, and
Right, right.
then yeah, they just pretty much left it essentially. But it's really cool because they also have the not the prancing pony, the green dragon,
Mm-hmm.
and you go in and you get and that's your last that's your last stop on the
Oops.
tour.
Hold on. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. And I don't know if I don't think I well, is there the picture of the Frodo and Sam on the bridge?
Not on the bridge. I'm kind of like trying to parcel them out in sort of sections if I get
Okay.
fur.
I was gonna say you can see it kind of in the background. I think I did a selfie in front of it
No
too.
admittance except on party
Yep,
business.
that's what's on my door.
Back to the Hobbiton, the Harfoot thing. The reason I ask is because you've heard like the notion of like they were nomadic in Rings of Power. They're small, sort of halfling-ish, very hobbit-ish, but they're very different in character, right? They wander, they're nomads.
Yep.
And there is a part of them that is sort of risk averse, but the reality is they're nomads, so they move. And the wheels of their wagons look a lot like they could eventually turn into doors, which I kind of love that at some point they settle and they retain, these vestige of their nomadic life and symbolically turn the wheels into doors.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure that's what they're going for, and I'm sure because that's a thing with Rings. I do appreciate all the Rings of Power. I do appreciate all the callbacks to Jackson's Rings because that's what most people are gonna know.
Yeah.
What I do miss from it is like the callbacks to the text itself. So stuff like that where they're hinting at it could become hobbits, I just put in the green pieces there. That they could, eventually turn into the hobbits of the Shire. I feel like is something just for, to how do I say this? To like hook people in. They're like, oh yeah, they're like, the hobbits in Lord of the Rings because this is what people are used to. So like it's fun and it's a cute idea, but I don't know. I mean, they're literally cousins normally.
Yep.
So we'll see.
A lot of these plants, these are real, but it's a trip to me.
Yeah.
They're beautiful flowers.
Oh, I also went there in, let's see, their fall because it was April. Almost, it'll be 5 years ago, April. So that's the Hobbit hole that I literally stayed in. There's a person that has random things. They also have like a boat and like a old plane that you can stay in. And so one of the things is this Hobbit hole they built.
So these are not part of the same set.
No, that's
it's a
where I
completely
stayed the
different
night
place.
before I went to Hobbiton.
Oh, gotcha. I think I grabbed
Yeah.
it together thinking it was the same door.
Oh, no,
Wow.
it's
Okay.
okay.
So there's a set of those in here, yeah? Of photos of the room or no?
I didn't really take too many pictures inside the room. The room was, I mean, it wasn't that exciting. They didn't really like spruce it up to make it look like anything from Rings. Which was kind of sad, but all the windows were round and everything. Like it was still cool looking, but
Was it built into a hill or no?
yes, it was.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really cool, but it was also massive. Like there was a bed in kind of like the main open space, and then you walked into another room and there was 2 bunk beds in there. So like can accommodate a lot of people.
And you were traveling alone during this trip?
Yep. Yep. But I had to stay in the Hobbit hole.
Yeah.
Couldn't not stay in a Hobbit hole.
I'm just thinking about like your did you build the whole trip around visiting these spots and like
I did. Everything
How long ago?
This was 2018 when I went, April 2018. And yeah, everything was exactly what you said. I had built it around going to Hobbiton. I did other non-Lord of the Rings stuff, like either right before or right after I went to Hobbiton, I did the glowworm caves, and that was absolutely amazing. They have several. So they have some. So this was on the North Island, and they also have some on the South Island too. But yeah, they were absolutely amazing. It was really cool. You get to the one that I did. You go into these caves, and then you pretty much you have to wear like a full wetsuit and everything, and then you pretty much either are walking through the caves or you're floating through them on like a donut thing. And then you get to like jump off of several cliffs in the caves backwards onto the donut, and it's, like, pitch black in there, and you just have to jump backwards.
Oh my
Is
god.
absolutely insane, is
But there are
terrifying.
people with you, like, there's a group
Yes, so
or
you have guides.
yeah.
Um, yeah, you have guides with you, luckily.
I love the
Um,
idea of, like, nerdy tourism, man. That is so cool.
yeah. So that was a non-Lord of the Rings stuff, but I did a full, like, Lord of the Rings tour both in Wellington, which is on the North Island, and then, Queenstown, which is on the South Island, of locations, and then I did, like, the Weta tour, like, the Weta workshop tour, which was not as big as I was expecting it to be. I don't know, I was expecting to, like, go into it more, but it's
Mhm,
just
mhm.
I think they only keep that space for, like, just the tour. Like, it's obviously much bigger, but they're like, "Here, we're just gonna show you some stuff." And that's where, the picture of, like, the trolls and then, Azog is in there too,
Mhm.
where I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that's where I have the sword up to him.
We'll take a look at those,
Mhm.
for sure, a different time. I did wanna did you hear a little chime right now or no?
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if that shows up or not. Talk to me about this. This is sort of be the last kind of like Kayla's non-Lego super geeky um Lord of the Rings journey. But
Mhm. I mean,
so
there's a
you
lot more.
I know, and so we'll go through them, but you got
Mhm.
this Funko Pop signed by
Yep.
this guy.
Yep.
Where was
I
that?
did.
And how
That
was
was at
that?
Silicon Valley Comic Con,
Oh.
which I don't think I really knew he was gonna be there until maybe a month or so before I left, and then I, like,
Uh-huh.
saw that, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to go the day before I leave and meet him and get something signed and talk to him." And so, I actually trekked my dad along with me for that one, and which, of course, he was like, "Are you sure you wanna do this the day before you leave?" I'm like, "I don't care." I'm like, "I've had this like, everything else planned, it's fine." And, and yeah, and he was super awesome. He was really, really nice. And I think his flight got in late that day or something because he was
Mhm.
running late. And of course, the other people there were trying to, like, the people working it were trying to rush him. And he was like, absolutely not. I'm going to take my time with these people.
Awesome. Yeah.
Um, yeah, like, he really took his time with everyone during all the autographs and everything. And then for the photo, for the first time I took the photo, which, yeah, he was sitting in this chair, weirdly enough. I didn't really understand that. Um, but,
What do you mean
um,
like a special chair, like a throne or
he literally was
Oh,
just
here it
sitting
is.
in the chair like that.
I didn't realize that that's what that was.
Isn't that
I thought
funny?
he was standing in front of something. Got it. He was doing the
Yeah.
Picard Riker maneuver.
I don't
You can
know.
save that for the Star Trek for your Star Trek,
Sure.
plans in the future.
Um, but yeah, he was just sitting in it. I was like, maybe he's, tired or has a bad back or something. I don't know. Um, I was like, I'm not gonna question it. But it was funny because the first time I took the picture, I don't know if you've ever done this at cons before, but when you take the pictures with people, you
Uh-huh.
usually have to go somewhere else and you pick up the photo. And so when I picked it up, the lady, like, pulled it out and she's like, "Oh, you look really shiny." And I was like, "First of all, thank you." Great. Thanks for calling that out. And then she was like, "Oh, do you want to retake it?" And I was like, of course." I was like, I wouldn't even care if it wasn't,
Uh-huh.
how it looked. I could have, like, photoshopped it or whatever. I was like, I just get to see Sean again. So I was like, all right, I'll retake it. So they, like, brought me back in and I got to see him again. He was like, "Oh, like, was something wrong?" I was like, "Apparently I was too shiny." He's like, "Oh, let's get it right then." I was like, "Oh my god, you're so kind." Such a good
That's
human.
awesome.
And
That's
yeah, and then
awesome.
when we talked when he I forget if oh yeah, he just signed the Funko because you can only do one thing.
Mhm.
And when we talked that time, I was like, "Oh, I'm literally going to New Zealand tomorrow. Do you have any recommendations for like food places?" And he was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And he recommended the Chocolate Frog, which technically I went to and then went to again on the tour, but it was a different place because the place I went to on the tour, um, it used to be called something else, and then they like I forget. There was a whole thing with the two different locations. Like one was like used to be called it, and then now it's just like become it or something like that. But pretty much I went to.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And I just realized I think I did not get a long enough piece.
First, I had it up earlier. Allison says, "This is fun, y'all. Sitting here working on coloring pages, listening and watching." We were talking last time, and you yourself are also a coloring person who loves. We were talking about sort of
Yes.
like therapeutic, kind
Mhm.
of like mindful activities, which
Yes.
hopefully
Let's talk
the
about that
Lego
one.
is still is feeling like that. Do you think it is kind of
Oh
serving
yeah,
that purpose for you?
definitely.
Nice.
I've been like doing it at the end of the night, and just like put something on in the background. Um, and because if I wasn't doing that, I would just be, doom scrolling on my phone. So I really like it. I do think it's pretty cathartic.
I really do love the building thing. And again, it's a unique kind of like play feature, right, of this. I love the action figures thing, but there is something to be said about kind of taking it all apart and going through the
Yeah.
process and then unpacking it all, then just building this thing from nothing. I love it.
Mhm.
Emilio Morales, hola,
Emilio!
Kayla, hola.
I
¿Qué
met
pasó,
him
Emilio?
at Comic-Con at Ace Comic-Con in Seattle
Okay.
2018, where I met Tom Holland, Tom Hiddleston, and Sebastian Stan, um, and Anthony Mackie and Elizabeth Olsen.
Nice.
A lot of people.
A lot of Avengers.
A lot of Avengers, and we've been friends ever since. Awesome
Cobb
person.
notices your photo and sort of apparently, Sean
Oh,
had Kayla glowing, which
because I was too
and the
shiny
too
in the
shiny,
first
yeah,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah, can't forget that.
And
All
Emilio had
right.
fun times when you all met.
Yeah. And then I
So
always see him at Comic-Con.
tell me about the cons. Is that a thing that you do a lot of traveling for? You went up to Seattle. I know you went to San
Yeah.
Diego.
Yeah, so my first one was the the one that Stephen Amell from Arrow used to put on called Heroes and Villains, which
Okay.
has gone under, and I think they've just turned into like fan fest. So the first one they actually had was in San Jose, and definitely a lot smaller than most of these.
Mhm.
Um, but it was super fun, and yeah, met a couple. I met Steven, John Barrowman. I forget who else. I went there with a
John Barrowman
friend.
from Doctor Who.
Yes,
Uh,
and he's also an Arrow.
and oh, that's right.
Mhm.
He was a
Slade?
bad guy for a little bit, right?
No, no,
I
no.
was like, no.
No, Slade's, Manu Bennett.
Anyway,
I
yeah.
forget. I haven't watched it in so long.
New
Um,
Bennett.
mhm. Who plays Izog the Defiler?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
Oh,
plays
I
the
had
voice.
no idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he's from New Zealand.
Where did I know him from? I think I
He's in
first saw him in
Spartacus.
Spartacus. Yep.
Yeah. You see him in Spartacus, all right. You see everyone in Spartacus.
Emiliano
It's
says
great. That's
heroes and
literally
villains. LOL.
yeah,
Was it
TBT.
particularly yeah. Well,
It
Cobb
was a
is saying his son's autistic and he loves and is amazing with Lego.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. I'm
I think
thinking that's also why I like it, because I am also on the spectrum. So anything to like focus on, I love it. And I think I just put this on the wrong way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely I know a couple of different young folks on the spectrum that have been introduced to Lego and sort of use Lego as a way to, like you said, develop focus and also to soothe, depending on whether
I can just turn it.
love it.
I just realized I just put it on. Never mind.
Charlie Weaver with the thank you with the save. John Barrowman is
Merlin. Thank you. God,
and you
really
do see
feel like on the
everyone in
spot.
Spartacus. You do see everyone in Spartacus. This is true.
Yes.
You-
It is great. Oh, I have to build 2 of these. Okay, well, I just built this one. Apparently, I need to build 2 of them.
And where's that go?
It's gonna go over on this end. So it'll help build on top of the things that I thought were rickety.
What step are you on now, or page? Either one.
I'm on 128. Oh yeah, it says 2 times. I missed that part. That's fine. So I pretty much know what to do again. But I'll put this one on for the time being, just to
look. Your little Frodo's slowly making it towards the end.
I know.
I love that detail
on this. Really moving and grooving. Moving and grooving. Ooh, this is gonna look so cool. Okay, so it's on this one.
I see the 2.
Will it fit in there? Barely fits, but
trust the system. They know what they're doing.
I know. It amazes me.
I don't say that often. There are many systems I don't trust, but Lego, they got me. Look at that.
Amazing.
Emilio Morales says, I work for the education system and Minecraft. Yep. Minecraft educational or EDU is used for kids on the spectrum. Legos and robotics help as well. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I too work in education, Emilio. I am, fun fact, a public school teacher.
Thank
Emilio
you
says, Death Star next.
Oh my God. No, thank you.
So while you're working, so we've got this going on, just to do a little bit more of the sort of like, hey, here's some like nerdy stuff that you may not have learned about Lego, because why would you? I am going to go ahead and introduce something. So last time when you and I were talking, we talked about like the basic terminology to describe parts, especially like, it gets a little weird if you're like, oh, hey, I got that one piece, the one that looks like an elm, blah, blah, blah,
calling
right?
things like thingies.
Yeah, get the thingy, the thingy, the thingy.
The thingy
And
with
so,
the thingy.
I want to sort of show folks this. So this is Bricklink, and I don't know, how does it determine the orientation? Actually, I do know how it determines the orientation. If I resize, look at that.
Oh, nifty.
But it's not enough. Well, whatever. It's enough. Okay. So first off, AI says, hello, Brick. What's up, bud? Welcome, Kayla. AI Collectibles. Check them out. See, take a look. I don't know if you can see highly articulated. Yeah. He's an A-fool too. Such an A-fool. Yes.
When people say like mass hole.
Yeah. So Black Phoenix would love to know about how long does a build like this take? Of
My
course,
whole life.
Yeah.
That is how long this is gonna take.
Relative. But I have I have only had 2, I guess, comparable sets that I've built. Actually, that's not true. One, and then my son actually built the other one when he was, man, I think he must have been about 8 or 9. So, and I can show you what those are here, but it's going to take a long time. So here, I'll do that with Bricklink. All right. So AFOLs. There was a man who has since passed who was an adult fan of Lego that sort of created this website years ago. And it's been such a while that I'm sorry, no disrespect, but I'm forgetting his name. So where's the about section? So it's bricklink.com. And if you are a fan of Lego and to the point where like you've got a bunch of sets, but like, you know, you might be looking for older sets that are discontinued, or you're looking for parts that you want. This site is something you need to know about, bricklink.com. So there it is. Dan Jezik, a computer programmer and see, look, I didn't make this stuff up. AFOL, adult fan of Lego.
I believed you.
Yep. Has always been passionate
like,
about
sure,
Lego products, right? And so it kind of goes through this thing on June 19th, Bricklink, or back then it was called BrickBay, was born, sort of after the eBay thing.
The Brick Baby.
And so he, you know, started selling his pieces, created a space for others to sell. And that's how this place sort of came together. Did I say he passed? I thought he did. Sorry if he did it. My bad.
How dare you?
So he created this thing back in the day, and then essentially back in 2018, Lego finally said, "Hey, let's sort of like bring you in-house." And so now Lego has sort of officially like purchased and now owns Bricklink. And there was a lot of, you know, as you can imagine, people were a little scared. Is this going to sort of change how this thing works? And
is that really, like how you know, when people sign NDAs with toy companies?
Yeah, well, you know, eventually you sort of become a part of it. But for the most part, it has actually led to some pretty cool things. And ultimately, it hasn't really changed a whole lot. Granted, the last time I think I bought something off of Bricklink was maybe like 6 months ago or something. So it's been a little bit, and I haven't exactly used it as much as I did before it was owned. Anyway, the reason I wanted to show you this is, one, just if you're curious, like this is a great place to kind of find pieces. But earlier when you were mentioning things like you were mentioning, let's see, what if I'm missing pieces? Like an option. Well, actually, no. The first option is the Lego group, as they're formally called, will not leave you high and dry. Like, you call customer service, or there's a whole online form.
High and dry.
They will, no, you know, that would be not pleasant.
No,
but
no one likes that.
They will absolutely replace anything. And it's not like they ask a ton of questions or have you prove anything. They just set number or whatever, and they'll send it to you. So, but maybe if you bought a piece secondhand and you're just trying to collect a lot of parts, definitely check out Bricklink. As Emilio put it, Bricklink is that best source to figure things out with parts, etc. A lot of stores use this source as well. What I'm assuming he means is kind of what you and I have been talking about with the different pieces. So this is where, like, if you're looking for parts, right, it gives you this just huge list. But this is kind of where having that language is helpful, because you're like, I'm looking for this one piece, you know, kind of shaped like this. Yeah. And again, if you know the general categories, like, here we go, bricks or plates, let's see, tiles, right? You can see all these different tiles. Looking good. Minifigs, right? Or minifigures, plates. And then there's, like, you know, modifiers. So it's like plate modified, decorated. And for me, you learn so much, I think, is sort of what Emilio was getting at, right? You can kind of just develop a little bit of the language and like how to find things this way. So you'll see, like, these are all bricks that are round. And again, using the language as you and I talked about,
how many
one by one.
How many bricks do they have?
Like unique parts?
How many do you think exist in the world? Like
You're just
types?
talking parts in the world or types? Different unique types?
Parts. Yeah,
Yeah,
parts.
unique types. On it, I don't know. I don't know. And, you know, I've got a bunch of books in the other room of like collectibles where they list like little fun facts like that. But honestly, I haven't paid enough attention. But this is
your channel is called Brick something. Come on.
Yeah, because I don't do details like brick, whatever, something, you know?
That's perfect. Good answer.
So anyways, I love Bricklink and it's a great way to sort of find things. The other reason I bring it up is we were talking about the sets, the big sets that I've built. And I know Black Phoenix had a question. I'm going to get there. Sorry. So this is a great way to find old sets too. So everything is organized by theme, and it's a great way for you to kind of like learn the names of different themes. One of the big sets that I built was for a theme called Ninjago that we got my kid back when I believe he was 8. And so you get into there, and these are all the different sets that you can find. It has all these details to the point where like you can click on a set, like say this one, set 9441, right? And it was released in 2012. It'll tell you the dimensions of the things. It'll tell you how many parts. So this one is 179 parts and 2 minifigures. So you click on that thing and it'll show you every single piece that is in it, as well as you're like, oh, I'm looking for that one piece. You click through. And of course, here's that actual part. And this will show you how many different colors that part came in. And let's say you're looking for a dark blue, you go into this and there's 3,677 people selling them at the moment.
Wow.
And, you know, you can see sellers from all around the world, just to give you a sense of this, right? It's the cheapest this part, this little 2x2 dark blue plate is going for at the moment is 1 cent per part, right? And so if you wanted to limit it, say to, let's limit it to people in the United States. And these are United States. So 2 cents is the lowest going price in the United States, and it's being currently sold by this vendor. This vendor has 2 available.
Whole 2 cents.
Yep. And so it's tempting, right? Because like for me, I'm like, I need 1, but F it. Here's a guy who's selling it for 50, you know, he's got 15. Here's a person selling, I'll buy him. Ooh, he's selling them for 4 cents, right? So it's a great way to kind of like find those pieces that you're needing, you're looking for, and you know, just like eBay, you can give comments and do that whole thing.
Yeah.
But the largest set that I believe we own, because I believe this one is thicker. See, that's what happens when I hang
Thick
out
with 2
Kayla.
C's.
Let's see, what was it called? Apocalypse Bird. There it is. Is this thing. And so where is the actual set? Here's the set. This thing right here is, I believe, the largest set. Maybe the other one is bigger. So it's this one, and then we have the Star Wars Cantina set. So my son built this. I believe he was 8. I might be wrong. He might have been 9. I don't know. But he built it on his own from the beginning. I was just like, cool, here you go. And it took him, I think, 6 days of building, no more than, I think, an hour or so, no longer than that, right? Because we didn't want him.
So like 6 hours?
Yeah, I want to say it was about 6. Maybe it was a little longer than that. But I mean, he was at it and he was focused, and it was a beautiful thing to see. He needed help with the stickers, and there were parts where he sort of was like, Papa, I'm confused, and we worked through it. But I will say that this isn't nearly as big as that one. I know that this has a lower piece count and like sort of parts are hollow, etc.
I also have 0 experience compared to your son.
Well, so this is half. This is 3,000 parts.
Yeah, but still.
Right. But size-wise, it's 47 inches, 58 inches, 47 by 58 by 16. So it's 58 tall, but it's like thin parts are up there. So that took about that long. And then I did the cantina with their help. They helped me like build some of the vehicles and stuff. And this is the Mos Eisley Cantina. No, not that one. This is the little mini booger one. This one. And so this is 58 by 47. This was in the middle of the pandemic. Looking good. And so let's see. This came with there you go, 3,000 parts. Again, half of what you're doing.
Dang.
And I think I did this in maybe 2 or 3 days. Those are longer sessions than an hour, but maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's not nearly as involved. So if that's any measure, like, I don't know, let's see, 6, maybe like 12 hours of building total. I don't know. I know at one point you were thinking about like trying to clock it, but I don't know.
I'm not going to try to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, that's Bricklink, and definitely one of like my favorite resources on multiple levels. And there are a bunch of others that we can kind of look at, but there's a lot of great sort of databases, and that's the cool thing. It's like we're Lego, like action figure folks are nerds. Like Lego folks are like super geeky, and there's a distinction, but like real like kind of like tech-minded, detail-oriented, like spreadsheets and at some point we'll talk about my Lego spreadsheets of my collection and like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's both awesome and pathetic at the same time.
No, it's awesome.
So let's see.
Don't let people yuck your yum.
Highly articulated. Yeah, it says much longer than you expect. Generally, this is true. It takes a long time. Emilio, right, was saying this as well. Bricklink hasn't changed much apart from getting the official sets on there. Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot. And they've actually been doing new things since the Lego has been there, including doing more like, I think they've done it 2 or 3 times now, where people will submit ideas that'll be specifically made to be sold through Bricklink. That wouldn't otherwise would have had, another venue to be sold at as a set. So that's kind of cool. Kind of comes this sort of like fan driven, here's my idea, and people vote, and that's what gets made. So pretty cool stuff. I mean, awesome. Lego definitely is fascinating as a company. Yeah. And the way they worked with their fans, I've heard a bunch of different things, and I've seen a bunch of different things. And in some ways it's kind of an interesting, like sometimes a little maybe too strict around certain things and rules, things you can and can't do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything like taboo with Lego?
Tons. And it's a private company, so they
just
have,
like in the community in general.
Tons. I mean,
and are there people that I was thinking about this, like, are there people, because like obviously you can build this set but still kind of customize it, or make changes as you go, or change things after you're done, or is there like a group of people that are pro doing that, and there's a group of people that like, no, you can't change anything?
Yep. There are purists who are purists in multiple senses, but there's just different ways to play with Lego. And I think there are some people who are like, I only build official sets and I keep them that way. I don't take them apart to make other things. And it's not so much that like they frown upon it, at least in that sense. I haven't seen a whole lot of people be like, oh, I can't believe you customize stuff. That's horrible. As far as like building your own things. However, there are people, when you say customize, there are folks who have like real strict rules about what kinds of building techniques are quote unquote legal or sanctioned.
Oh my God.
So, for example, snot for a while, like when it was starting early days, people would consider things that Lego wouldn't normally do as a technique in their official sets. Like if you're doing something else, like a little bit either frowned upon or like a little weird. And a lot of it has more to do with like, is it structurally sound? Because if you start to do certain connections and it falls apart, like when Lego are building sets, it's meant to be sold, played with kids. So they're not meant to fall apart real easy, right?
Yeah.
So they have to build it in a way that's structurally sound, etc. So there's some of that. But then there are people who kind of just do rogue techniques or like find their own ways of putting things together, and that there are people who do get a little bit uppity about it.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then the other end is the quote unquote purist. This word usually means like you're only using official Lego parts, and that extends to third party, not just like sort of like Mega Bloks or whatever, but when people there's a group of folks who will create actual like third party unique parts, whether it's things for minifigures like accessories, armor, heads, weapons, etc. Or even if you like get ahead and then you do your own printing on a blank piece, like people actually do that and create like buy actual Lego blank heads, but will print custom heads.
I don't know if you're going to be able to read this, but it says there and back again.
There it is. A little closer and you'll get to the sweet spot. So that's the book.
Yep.
That's Bilbo's little workshop now.
In the book. Yep. Guessing that's what it's going to be at least. So here's the book.
That's awesome. I love that book piece. On the tip of like QC, highly articulated says he's only ever had a single piece missing in a few hundred sets. Lego sent it to me without any issues. Yep. Same here. I think it was like, again, 5 times over definitely several hundred sets.
Amazing.
So, and it's all like measured out, weighted. They have their like system that we'll get into another day, but on the purity tip, toy purity gatekeepers are the worst. Absolutely. Especially to a super creative customizer like Allison Troy, who is like finding toys and making them her own to kind of build out worlds. That looks awesome. That was a sticker.
Yeah, it's a little crooked, but you know, it is what it is.
What's your method for putting them on? Straight, just using your fingers, using your nails, because you got a little longer nails?
Yeah, my nails to kind of move them to fix them a little bit. But you know, it is what it is at this point.
I use the brick separator actually that you got down there. I kind of put it as a little tool to kind of put them on, but that's just me. And yeah, I think
it literally like holds on to the book because it's supposed to remain open like this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, very cool. Allison's pointing out that.
Oh, it gets featured on this side.
Oh, so that's in the room.
So that's his desk. So, so this must be
that's Bilbo's
bed.
Okay. That's not necessarily the bed that Frodo woke up in.
Yeah, not necessarily, but that's what I called it.
Very cool. I was just going to point, Allison says, this is how Toy Polloi is always rolling in pieces of Lego for repairs. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's shown Bricklink and that's where he gets the pieces from, but likely because you can, again, hunt for that specific piece you want. And there's all sorts of other features in there that are amazing. Lucha Johnny says, what's up, folks? The set looks amazing.
Hello. May or may not have something to do with Star Trek that I mentioned earlier.
I love how you keep things cryptic and then eventually it sort of starts spilling out.
You know, also how they show clear pieces is pretty much like white. But, you know, you figure it out.
You do. Yeah. The color thing is tricky on the printing too. Yeah, I've had that issue where it's like, wait, is this dark gray or light gray? Because there's actually 3 shades of gray. There's a light gray, there's a blay, which
50
is like a
shades of
blue
gray.
gray, and a dark gray. Yeah. Just like 50 shades of gray. Allison says it's the Gandalf honeymoon hobbit bed, right?
Yes. Yep. You know, where they all get together and have a big ol' party.
Fellowship. It's a fellowship. Eldor, Master Versatile Toy Hunter, Evening That Brick Sir, and Kayla.
Hello. How's it going?
That bed is where the magic happens.
It is.
I'm sure there's fireworks involved. Gucci Johnny says, I haven't bought any Lego sets of my own, but I get my friend Mike a Star Wars Lego set for his birthday every year. Man,
Aww.
That's a friend.
Yeah, you're a good friend.
Love it.
Is it supposed to be this or is it supposed to be black?
So Lucha Johnny has the Mega Constructs Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain, but hasn't built them yet. Those sets are amazing. I've gone back and forth on getting them. As you can see, this is how I've displayed a bunch of our sets. I've kind of stuck to this ship theme and kind of have them knolled on the wall. And so something like that would require a shelf that I don't have, but those are amazing. They are Mega Constructs. Oh, he's also got the Mega Constructs Havoc staff. Love it. It's got a little Motu. I've got a couple of those. A couple of the smaller sets that I've actually been gifted. I love them. But as far as the toy purity goes, there are folks who like super frown on any people getting Mega Constructs, for example.
What the heck? Why I mean,
people need tribes, I guess. I don't know. And he has most of the smaller Motu sets, really digs them. The Roton is fantastic. That is one that I have, and I love that you can kind of spin it. And yeah. And Eldor is impressed by your building there. Coming along there.
Oops.
Ah, look at that.
Isn't that cool? I was like, why? Now it makes more sense why this piece was supposed to be black and not gray. I almost put black or gray there.
That feather piece is so old too. That's when I was a child. They used to have those in the top of little Robin Hood characters.
Okay.
All right. So what do you think is going to be your milestone for tonight? Is there a particular place you're trying to get to?
I'm almost done with this bag. I just have one. I'm on my last page. So perfect timing.
Perfect. Yeah, we could wind down and then we will talk about next steps, I guess.
Yeah.
But look at that. That is awesome. Just for context, this is what's happening here.
Yep.
Again, if you weren't aware, this is 6,000 pieces. There are 49 bags of pieces inside. There are 3 instruction books for progress. We are on.
They also gave me 2 extra feathers. How funny.
What are you going to do with those?
I don't know. Just keep them.
So we are on instruction book 1 of 3. This little Frodo at the bottom is your progress bar. So you can see here, it's a progress bar through this book, I'm assuming. So this is a book.
Yes,
so this is this page that I have here is the left side of the book, and this is the right side. So you can see she started here and Frodo moved along, and she's got this much left of this book. Super cute. And then, so that's 3 books, 6,000 pieces spread across 49 bags, as I said, and you are now going to be finishing up bag number 7. So that's
one seventh of the way there.
Yep. And was it 10 character minifigs and 5 non-character minifigs? Something like that. But I say that only because You've done 2 figs so far. You found 2 of them,
Yep.
Frodo and Sam, and then all of the statues. And looks like we've got Bilbo going on. So you've got
I think,
a bunch of
Bilbo's
fun little
next.
surprises.
Yep. Bilbo is going to be next. And look at, this is where he writes his book. There and back again. A Hobbit's Tale by Bilbo Baggins.
Love it.
And I will not say the nickname that I had for Bilbo Baggins. Let's just say the first letter is different. Or no, 2 letters are different. I'm tired.
Yes, I'm familiar with Mr. Daggins as well.
Here, I'll put them back in bed together. There, all is right in the world.
Lucha says, I can understand being a purist, but I doubt we'd ever see Motu in Lego since Mattel owns Mega Constructs too. Absolutely, and believe me, I thought about trying to recreate that Castle Grayskull using Lego at one point. Way too cost prohibitive, and you don't nearly have the right colors. And so, yeah, I think that thing is amazing. I've gone back and forth so many times about getting it, and eventually just sort of said, nah. But it's amazing, and definitely should build it soon because it looks amazing. Eldor has a few Lego sets there. The 89 Collector Batmobile, which is an amazing set too. And an old Lego City 3-in-1 set, but I have it in its jet plane form.
I forgot I didn't attach them.
That's awesome. Look at that. It's coming together. Remember where we started? It was like this weird little platform with like rando bricks. I love that window. I don't know if it's supposed to be a window or a painting or whatever.
I think it's just supposed to be a painting.
Were those in the movie? There were yeah, that's right. By Narsil, right?
There were scenes. Behind Narsil. So that's, I think on the other side of this is going to be that scene with Boromir.
Awesome.
And Aragorn. Like in the picture on the outside of the box.
Someone had a Snake Mountain build on Bricklink, but it would have been super expensive. Yep. So that's the other thing on Bricklink is you can create things. You can create custom set, and there's actually like a sort of a instruction generator on that. So you can actually you can design it digitally, and it'll spit out your instructions, sort of Lego style, and you can buy them and then buy all the pieces through Bricklink. It's pretty intense. You know how we were talking the other day about the rise of these more adult-oriented collector sets. Just an example, like, Eldor saying he's got the 89 Collector Batmobile, which is one of these large sets like Rivendell, targeted at adults. He also had a Voltron set, which actually does sort of transform from lions to the robot, which again is this huge set, and they're obviously like in the 3 digits, like several $100 kind of sets. I believe the Voltron's was like 200, 300. Let's see. There's a Seinfeld set that Lucha Johnny hasn't yet built. So again, there's all this stuff. There's the Office set. I don't know if you've seen that, but based on The Office with all like little minifigs, and it's the whole actual office space.
I know. After building this one, I saw that Office one came out, and I'm like, oh, that is very tempting.
Yep. And yeah. And you won that set? You won the Voltron set? That's nice. So when it came out in Eternia, where he lives, $300 for that Voltron set. So that's the other thing. I think what you're sort of coming in at is a time when, more and more adults and adult collectors are coming in. There's a lot of folks. I mentioned AFOLs, but I'm talking like they're branching out to, smartly, like they're branching out to fans of The Office who weren't necessarily buying Lego. They're branching out to fans of Voltron who weren't necessarily into Lego, and then folks buy these sets and they kind of, get hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Toyota saying he has the Voltron, got him on sale for $150 back in the day, and Lego sales are hard to find. Having
The
fun over
longer
there?
you show this view, the more I'm going to put them in compromising positions.
Yeah. I mean, they're just stretching. Support
Yes.
with yoga,
Mm-hmm.
spotting. No, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
The Batmobile costs $400 New Zealand. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, you live in New Zealand, don't you, Masterversal? I believe.
Yeah, and Eldor, I don't know if you saw, but we showed pics of Kayla's trip out there. I don't know if you yourself have had a chance to visit some of those spots, Eldor. So, all right. So you are done with that bag, and
Yes.
it looks like the hobbits are getting ready to rest. That's cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They're ready to turn in for the night.
That is exactly what's happening. They're totally going. Damn it. It's fine. I'll put them back in their original position.
Got it. All right. All right. So awesome. Real quick, he did want to chime in and say that he has been to a few of those spots here
I would
and
hope
there.
so.
Hobbit down, Hobbit down.
Hobbit down. I mean, a hobbit went down, that's for sure. Ew.
But in a totally innocent way, as Black Phoenix says, he's sure of it. Real quick, I just realized I loaded a video and I forgot to show it. And since I started humming it, I was like, oh, let's go ahead and take a quick look at one of the videos, and that'll tease maybe some of the next photos that we will see next time. I went ahead and silenced the music there, just enough, just in case. So where was that? And how far away was that?
Doom. That was
how far away was that from the Hobbiton set that you visited?
I think it was like a couple hours drive. Yeah, it's just a little bit south on the North Island.
And so was that the closest you got to Mount Doom?
Yes. I mean, technically I hiked it because there's more parts of it that they used to shoot on for the scenes when they hiked Mount Doom. And so there's like a whole other so there's like that peak, and then there's like another one and like a big crater, and then on the other side of it there's like the red rocks that they used a lot for Mordor.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the airports all have stuff. I think did I put the picture of the eagle in there? Because I did take a picture. I'll have to add that in. I did take a picture of that.
And we can sort of show, we're definitely going to show more on the next stream.
Oh, we'll show more.
And yep. And one does not simply walk. One doesn't simply walk into Mordor. And they're supposedly doing a Lord of the Rings remake. Yes, this is a thing.
I saw that.
Ooh, I saw that. Look of disdain. Look at you.
We'll see. I mean, I liked Rings of Power, but it's hard knowing so much of the lore, and like I don't know. I had high expectations, and it was still really good, and I liked it for what it is. But Jackson's films were so good that to completely remake, it's like the cast was perfect, like location was perfect, director was perfect, everything. Like I feel like it would be really hard to do that well. So good luck to them. I'll probably still see it. I'll probably be very excited to see it. I will probably stalk it to no end, just like I did with Rings of Power. But I will be at the Comic-Con panel. But
I like the way you use the word probably as if it were like, yeah.
I will be there.
Black Phoenix says Hollywood is out of ideas. Yeah, perhaps. I think I think part of it too is like we keep going to see them. We keep probably going to see them, and we keep probably handing them our money. So I think,
it's more content.
what would one do?
Toy, you want to highlight what Toy Art said? Yeah, I heard that too, but the thing is, the rights for anything beyond Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are gonna be really hard to get from anyone, so we'll see. 'Cause I've seen that as well.
Highly articulated saying he doesn't think that they can do any better than the Jackson movies.
Exactly.
But
Good luck.
I have a different take on that,
art.
but I don't know. I think I generally tend to be a lot more sort of open and just checking stuff out than some people. Not saying that's for you, highly articulated, but just in general, I think there are
I'm
folks who
open to
sort
check
of.
it out.
I know you fully are. Like you're just. I'm gonna try stuff. But there's something to be said. I've gone back and watched The Lord of the Rings, and I try to introduce my kids to it. And it is also very of its age. My wife was sort of like looking at the graphics and the CGI and was like, whoa, I don't remember it looking like that, right? And so some of it doesn't quite age very well when
I would
we
say most
kind
of it
expect.
ages pretty well. Like, I mean, especially considering, like, some of the CGI now is awful compared to it.
Yeah.
Like, they made this 23 years ago, and a lot of the CGI is way better than the stuff these days.
There's stuff in there that I
Like, they
was kind of like,
even
oh, that's an interesting color grading choice, or like, oh.
Yeah, well, also, when they just released the 4K last year, they did enhance some of the background stuff, so I don't know, were you watching the new version? Do you
What
know
was
what
I
you were watching
watching?
it
They
on?
were.
And were you
It
watching the
wasn't the newest
extended?
one, and it was the extended.
Okay, better be the extended.
I subjected my children to the extended. They didn't quite make it, by the
You
way.
know,
They didn't quite
you
make it.
can't do regular, you have to extend it.
When that is an option, absolutely. Toy Art says you can't get the Silmarillion first age rights at all. Is that just because the estate is just real protective of it?
Like, anything beyond Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit is fairly locked away from what I know. But yeah, same Lucha Johnny with the 4K. I think it looks really, really good. They did a good job enhancing it.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah. I mean, definitely better than the Chihuahua warg that they did in Rings of Power. That was just sad.
Yeah, I'm curious, the 4K, is that available? Can you
So,
stream it, or do you have
I
to have
had I've had, the iTunes extended versions forever, and when they released the 4K, it just automatically updated it to 4K. I'm not sure if isn't it HBO that has them right now extended? I'm not sure if those are 4K, but obviously if you're streaming it, it may not always be in that 4K. Speaking of 4K.
Allison said they should just go back in and fix the CGI.
With Rings of Power, yes.
And then
there's obviously some stuff, especially with Gollum, but I mean, they did an amazing job with him.
They absolutely did, and when I went
Like, all
back
the
to
mocap work.
Yeah, when I went to back to watch it, like, it wasn't Gollum, because they definitely, like, spent time on that. There were some other scenes with, like, some compositing. I believe it was, like, the hobbits on Treebeard, that stands out, if I remember. There were
Yeah.
just some compositing issues that were kinda like, some light and dark stuff. Some stuff where we're just kinda like, "Wow, I can't even see what's going on," or, like, whatever. But they're great. Like, they're great as films.
Yep.
I just wonder if they could go back and do it, and I'd definitely check it out. but
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know.
I will be there 100%. I will give it the benefit of the doubt. Um, yeah, we'll just have to see.
Oh, wait, let's go in order or and content-wise sorry,
List them
concept-wise.
as HD, but not as
Yeah,
4K.
so there's
Hmm.
that. Um,
Too bad.
Highly
Guess
Articulated
you'll
says,
have to buy them.
I really enjoyed the first season of Rings of Power. I'm genuinely open to anything. I'm just saying those films are iconic, 100%, right?
Yeah.
And they do. They set
Very high bar.
a high bar. I guess where I'm coming from with it is that as sort of a person who's consumed a lot of media through different eras, and when I say eras, meaning like, yeah, in my lifetime, I've seen just different production techniques, right? Come and some things go.
Yeah.
And what they can do now is very different from what they could do before. And there's also sort of the
True.
hindsight of not just what they can do, because there have been people who have tried to do things with digital technology, for example, um, and they did a great job when it sort of came out and seemed really cutting edge and gorgeous, and
Yeah.
then they don't
I
age
mean,
very well.
Weta really led the way with that for sure.
But then, there's also the hindsight of like, okay, great. There was a period where it didn't look so great. There were
Mhm.
some things that we threw out, like practical effects. There was a period there where people were really leaning in digital. And so people have had
Mhm.
the benefit of hindsight to be like, no, there are certain things that look really good in practical, certain things that look really good in CG, to the point where today, like, it really is difficult to sort of see, you know, what is CG, what is practical. I think oftentimes, or people get
Yeah.
blown away when they start to realize, oh my God, that much was CG and I had no idea.
Yeah.
So that said, I
And
just wonder what you
they
could
did
do now.
use yeah, and they did use a lot of practical, and I think that's why it did so well, and I think, it's why it did better than The Hobbit too, but, I mean, there was other stuff with The Hobbit, of course, but
Yeah.
so much of The Hobbit was CGI, and it's funny because if you watch the behind the scenes and you're looking at these sets and the dwarves and
Yep.
everything,
Yep.
they look amazing. I was like,
Yep.
"Why did you" like,
Yep.
it's almost like they took, like, a blur filter over everything, and I was like, "Why did you did not need to do that."
And again,
Like,
you're talking about The Hobbit,
The
right?
Hobbit.
Specifically.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But it's interesting how you say, like, we have, all this new technology and whatnot, but, like,
Mhm.
they use such great practical effects. They used all those amazing miniatures that were, like I think they nicknamed bigatures, something
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm. Yep.
Um and yeah, models and stuff like that. And they did an amazing job with it.
Yep.
And, even with all this new technology, they still made those dang wargs look horrible in Rings of Power, and they had a $1 billion budget. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, you can have all the money, all the new technology in the world, but that doesn't mean crap if like you can't execute it properly. So,
Sure.
I hope they can do a good job with all the tools they have and, whatever the budget may be, because apparently that doesn't even matter. um, but, yeah, we'll
I
see.
mean, and that's the thing, sort of fans, or, just kind of watching from the outside, it's often easy to say, "Oh, that doesn't look good. It could be better." So I wanna, name that, like, I recognize that people put, like, a lot of time, energy, passion, work into these things, and they kinda
Yeah,
get done what they can get done. And so sometimes
true.
there's other real limitations that aren't, you know, that where they just have to, we gotta move on or whatever.
Mhm.
And knowing some folks who work in different creative fields, but also in film, and effects in particular, hearing some of the backstory as to why things end up, you're like, "Oh, okay, no, I get it." It's
Yeah.
it's it's a
I
complex
mean,
machine, right? With a
they
bunch of moving parts.
worked for Lord of the Rings, they literally submitted I forget if it was Fellowship or Return of the King. They submitted, like, the final cut the day of the premiere. It was insane. It was,
Yep.
like, down to the wire with it. So, yeah, there's definitely stuff you have to, go, like, good enough towards the end of it for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But, Yeah.
All right,
I'll just keep my expectations low. How about that?
Yeah. Let's see, Eldor, real quick. I want to finish off the comments. I want to leave him anything hanging. He says, I met one of the dwarf actors several years ago, the one that had something stuck in his head.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my friend was an extra as one of the Gondor soldiers. That's awesome.
I met Judd Brophy at Comic-Con this past year. I'll have to upload that picture too.
Who was he?
He plays one of the dwarves, and I am blanking on his name right now.
Okay.
Which one he is? Balin? No. But he also was in Lord of the Rings and played a million. He plays orcs in Rings of Power. He played orcs in Lord of the Rings. He played an elf in Lord of the Rings. He was the Witch King of Angmar at one point. Yeah, he played a lot of different things.
That's awesome.
Sorry, that's Milo, if you can hear him.
And that's amazing. Like you go deep with these things, right? Like it sounds like you're like, I know actors. I know like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Lord of the Rings, clearly.
That's the obsession. No, I get it.
Yes.
He dresses up in knight's armor and slog it out with real swords, axes, and what have you. That's amazing.
That's so cool.
And goes to various countries doing all of that. Man, my job is so boring.
I know.
Practical almost always holds up better than CG. And a lot of that is just because as human beings, like when there's a real thing there, it's a real trick and an art to fool people, right?
Yeah. And now with what is it?
Brain.
The volume.
Mm-hmm.
That too.
Yeah, there's all sorts of new things, and sometimes it looks really great, sometimes it doesn't, but whatever, highly articulate. I mean, they could redo the scene with the barrels in the river, but that's about the only glaringly bad scene. This is The Hobbit. I will tell you. Go ahead.
That one and in the Battle of the Five Armies when they're in that like cart thing with, I forget if it was like those goat or ram creatures, and oh god, like running through the battle. I was just like, if you watch the extended version, it's extra long, and B, even if you watch the normal version, that scene is way too long, and it just like it's so unnecessary. Like it's fun, but it's just like one of those things where like, yeah, the CGI was bad. It was just no bueno, and then dragged on. So you're just like, why at the end of the day?
No bueno.
No bueno.
I will just say really quickly because I could go way too long on it, but I saw The Hobbit first when it was first released, and I made the mistake of going to the what do we call it? The non-interlaced, like the high def. There's a name for progressive scan version, which basically makes everything look like I don't know, like a soap opera or I don't know if you've ever noticed, or like, you walk into Costco and they have that stupid motion blurring thing turned off. So everything looks super sharp and crisp.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just this thing
weird.
that he made a big deal of. Peter Jackson made a big deal about like being excited. We're going to do this. And it just really threw me out right away. Cause it felt like I was watching.
With how. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. It just felt like I was watching a live stage version being sort of shown. It's like, when you walk into a theater and they have those ads for like the Met Opera or whatever, one time only. That's what it looked like. And I didn't feel like I was watching a movie. I felt like I was watching people do a stage play, and I'm sort of sitting here watching a film of that. It just threw me off. But later versions that aren't like that look a little bit more filmic were
yeah. I think I saw The Desolation of Smog in 3D. I saw one of them in 3D. It definitely wasn't the first one.
Desolation of Smog's a second?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because the Battle of the... Yeah, that's right. Drive safely, Cobb. Thank you for watching. Eldor says, indeed, a group of people in a room for weeks on end, assembling all the chainmail and going mad for days. And there's so much that goes into that. Absolutely drive safely, Cobweb. Oh, right. They're in SoCal. We're doing okay up here today.
Yeah, we're okay today.
Yesterday was fun. I got to drive over a tree trunk yesterday off the 280.
I almost got hit many times once again. I got locked in an elevator. Was that Tuesday?
Yeah.
I think it was Tuesday. I don't
Like
know. What
power
are
went out
days?
or
Yeah, the power went out, and I had just gotten in the elevator, but somehow
fun.
it serviced, so Discord was keeping me entertained.
Yeah.
But the poor dog was just like, "Help me." I was like, "I'm sorry. I'll give you
In the
some treats."
role in the role of SilverKay tonight in the chat is
Yes.
highly articulated.
Thank you, highly articulated.
Masterverse. I don't have much Lord of the Rings, but I have the Hobbit Gandalf and Thorin action figures, a custom Thorin action figure. Don't know if you've seen that, but he did this amazing work on it. And the DVDs, I know Brick showed off my Thorin. Yes, repaint I did, and Gandalf is one of my new channel mascots there. Super
Amazing.
creative, super talented
Love
Eldor.
that.
Mint on card, Gandalf. Yes, this is it. High frame rate for TV or cinema feels weird.
Yeah, I always felt that way because yeah, you said soap operas do that, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Certain soap operas, not
yeah.
like back in the but
I remember trying to I didn't know it was called that, and I
yeah,
remember trying to explain to someone when everything started to switch to HD years
mhm,
ago,
yep,
and I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's like, you know what soap operas look like? Like,
yeah,
that's what TV is gonna look like now," and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking
yeah,
about?"
yeah.
And
So
I was
that
like, "I don't know."
and so as Toyar points out, like this notion of hyper real, they're trying to make like so you can see like pores and stuff, but it's like, you know what?
Which that's so interesting that they did that with The Hobbit when they blurred over so much stuff.
Well, when I saw it, not a whole lot felt blurry. Like when you said that, I was trying to think about it,
Yeah.
but it was
Well, it's
really
just
crystal clear, especially like
I
in the
think it's just like
mines.
the overall look of the movies
Mhm.
is kind of hazy. I think it's partially the, like, color palette that's used. Like, it's very, like, beigey tan
This
colored.
is true, but this was in Thorin's like in the flashbacks when they're in the mines or when in the king's sort of like throne room and when they first
Mhm.
discover the Arkenstone and that whole
Mhm.
like scene where he's like so he's in the throne room. It's purely mostly CGI, not pure, but mostly CGI. A lot of
Mhm.
greens because that's the sort of regalia. And it looked yeah, it was just a trip. Hyper real is probably
Hmm.
the best way to say it. But anyway,
Yeah.
we
Anywho.
digress, and we've been
Yes.
going 2 hours, my
2
friend.
2
You
hours and
have
8 minutes.
been building, I think, for a good, probably more than an hour of that. But I think this is
Yeah.
essentially what we're doing. I think we kinda figured it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? The
Yeah.
mix in a little bit of building, a little bit of progress check, a little bit of Kayla's, like in Kayla's nerdy brain and experience to kinda, like go through some of the photos, and then we even ended with a bunch of nerdy talk about the films and stuff. So
Yep.
sounds like a show to me.
Yeah. This is
Well
fun.
played, yeah. So when are we gonna do this again? Do you have a thought? Like we don't have to name a date, but like we're thinking, how long do you want to sort of just build? And I know you got some
Yeah.
traveling going on, right?
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say, and I'm guessing we won't be able to next week, so probably the week after. So early April,
cool. And you'll probably get a
right?
bunch of building sessions in during that time. Well, I
Yes.
know, yeah.
Hopefully I'll at least be done with the first book. Hopefully at least halfway through the second book by then. It'll
So
start to look like something.
Lego pulse check, where you're at with this sort of like newfound experience. What are you thinking? Where are you
Mhm.
at now?
I'm still
S-
addicted.
Still addicted?
Still
Is it
addicted
becoming
to what that Lego
easier?
did. Oh, definitely easier. I felt
Yeah.
like, especially knowing what a lot of the pieces look like now, I could kind of just, um, like, easily grab them from the pile, and then, if I had to grab a certain number of things, I would just kind of, like, pull out a bunch of them and then,
Mhm.
just go back and add more, like, didn't need to be super precise about it.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's definitely gotten easier. I only messed up once, but that was once again just because the colors looked so similar on the pages.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far so good.
Nice. Cool. Well, we will reconvene, I guess, in a couple of
Mhm.
weeks. And when we figure it out, we'll nail the date, and I'll put on post it so that we can, let people know and all of
Yep.
that. Before we go, let's just do the thing. Where can folks
Yes.
follow up with you between shows?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at SilverKay with 2 Ys, and you'll find everything else you need from there.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Why I got going on? I don't know what I've got going. I know I got to unbox a ton of stuff. I've got ridiculous amounts of boxes here. Um, I've got a bunch of Mythic Legions that came in. I got a Sunman
Nice.
from Quip, and a Spider Gremlin. So there's just a ton of things that need to happen. I still got to unbox all my Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. So I guess just sort of look out for that. And
Subscribe and hit that bell icon, y'all.
thank you. Yes, do
Mhm.
that too. That's awesome. And I think that's it. So let's see.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. How do we say? Is it like may the force be? No. So say we all?
One
No.
Lego to rule them all.
There you go. All right,
I
folks.
like
Thank you so much for joining us. Did you
Thanks,
like that?
guys.
Did
Yeah,
you
that
you
was
were about to
great.
say you liked it? Yeah, I thought you might. All right, folks. Thank you all so much. Thank you for
Thanks,
hanging out with
guys.
us. Good night. Play
Bye.
well.